Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2018 State of the County Address at the Ecolab Auditorium at the Culinary Institute of America. Please be aware that the emergency exits are located to the front, sides, and rear of the auditorium. And at this time, it is kindly requested that cell phones be silenced for this evening's program. Elected officials and representatives in attendance this evening are asked to stand and be recognized when announced. Representing Congressman John Faso, Mr. Ryan McAllister. Representing New York State Governor Andrew Cuomo, Mr. Dylan Mayoshi. New York State Senator, the Honorable Sue Serino. New York State Assemblywoman, the Honorable Dee Dee Barrett. Representing New York State Comptroller, Thomas DiNapoli, Mr. Matthew Martini. Ladies and gentlemen, show your appreciation for our countywide elected officials in attendance this evening. The Dutchess County Sheriff, the Honorable Adrian Butch Anderson. Dutchess County Clerk, the Honorable Brad Kendall. Dutchess County District Attorney, the Honorable Bill Grady. Dutchess County Comptroller, the Honorable Robin Lois. New York State Supreme Court Justice, the Honorable James Brands. Dutchess County Court Judge, the Honorable Peter Foreman. Dutchess County Family Court Judge, the Honorable Denise Watson. Dutchess County Family Court Judge, the Honorable Tracy McKenzie. Representing the Dutchess County Legislature and its membership, many of whom are in attendance this evening, show your appreciation for its chairman, the Honorable Greg Pulver, and the members of the Dutchess County Legislature. Please stand. Ladies and gentlemen, please show appreciation for the many supervisors and mayors representing municipalities across Dutchess County, as well as the local judiciary in attendance this evening. We ask them to please rise and be recognized. Ladies and gentlemen, we begin this evening at the Culinary Institute of America with a sneak peek of The Sassy Chef, a heartwarming movie filled with humor, a little suspense, and a thought-provoking message. Written, produced, and performed by individuals supported by the Arc of Dutchess in collaboration with Forge Media of the Art Effect.
Who do I need to fire? Sassy!
And you don't have to be sassy. I mean, you wouldn't be rude to her, would you?
Ladies and gentlemen, show your appreciation for the Arc of Dutchess. And at this time, welcome to the stage Dr. Michael Sperling, Vice President of Academic Affairs for the Culinary Institute of America.
Thank you, and welcome to the Culinary Institute of America. On behalf of President Ryan and all of our faculty and students, I want to offer a really warm welcome to our campus. We think it's a wonderful place to be, and we're really pleased that you've joined us today. We are, of course, deeply committed to our students' education, their learning outcomes, just as we're deeply committed to Dutchess County and to our place in the county. As you may know, we have one of the highest visitor counts in the county, and we welcome increasing numbers each year and try and create a wonderful, hospitable experience for our visitors. We have a collaboration you may have heard about, a sake brewery that we've worked to bring to Dutchess County, along with county and state government, adding resources and jobs to our region. We have a new hospitality management program, a Bachelor of Science in Hospitality Management, that's going to be starting this coming September. So again, that adds layers into many of our other programs that engage with the food and beverage community throughout the county, and we look forward to increasing that engagement. We also, of course, look forward to continuing to support County Executive Molinaro's priorities and Dutchess County. We all strengthen together as each of us individually strengthens, and as a collective we strengthen. So again, a warm welcome to the Culinary Institute of America, and especially to our county executive. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as we welcome the Honorable Hannah Black, Dutchess County Legislature Minority Leader, and the Honorable Greg Pulver, Dutchess County Legislative Chair, to recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, remain standing as we invite Madison Bishop, 6th grade student from Tuxedo Park School, to perform our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing at this time as we invite Victor Lavarius from St. Mary St. Joseph Church in Poughkeepsie to lead us in prayer.
Good evening. Let's put our head and bow for our God. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear Father, We thank you for everyone gathered here now. Thank you that you know each of us by name and have caused us to walk with you. We say that we are dependent on you and our trust is you completely. As we surrender ourselves in adoration, we ask that you would come with your Holy Spirit and inspire our hearts today. Come fill our life with your love. Fill our conversation with your grace and truth. Fill this meeting with your presence. We ask this for your glory and praise. Amen. Querido Padre, te damos las gracias todo lo que estamos aquí ahora. Gracias porque tú nos conoces a cada uno por nuestro nombre y nos has encauzado a caminar contigo. Nosotros decimos que somos dependientes de ti y nuestra confianza en ti es completamente. Así como nos rendimos en adoración, te pedimos que venga con tu Santo Espíritu e inspire nuestros corazones hoy. Ven y llena nuestra vida con tu amor. Llena nuestra conversación con tu gracia y verdad. Llena esta reunión con tu presencia. Nosotros te lo pedimos por tu gloria y tu alabanza por los siglos de los siglos. Amén.
Ladies and gentlemen, show appreciation for Victor Laverius from St. Mary St. Joseph's Church in Poughkeepsie, and you may be seated at this time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Dutchess County Poet Laureate, Poet Gold.
Do we exist to celebrate or malign, to unify or divide? Where is the in-between? Does it lay on the soil of the earth we traverse, or is it found amidst the shared air we breathe? Do we exist to build up one and lesser the other, to maim, hurt, deceive, or choose to protect our sisters and brothers? And who are they? And who are they? Do we exist blinded by our higher cause or conviction, or do we open our hearts to listen, to move with the might of insight, strengthening our foresight, to change the life of those who felt abandoned in a condition of blight? I know it's a personal journey, one that travels slow, grapple to survive, live our best lives, not to be a weed, instead a good seed, not choked by fear or greed. I plead to the universe, water us, please. Water us, please. Let us grow. Let us grow. Do we exist in a state of pain? Do we exist in a state of love? Do we exist in a state of tolerance or in a state of respect and compassion? Simple, complex question whose answer is not attached to all our man-made things, but can be found in the surrender to the human connection, in the space separating sunrise and sunset, the dash in between, where we exist.
Ladies and gentlemen, show your appreciation for the mayor of the Village of Tivoli, the Honorable Joel Griffith.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hello. Wow, that mic is loud, and this is a big room. Holy smokes. This is a big room. You know, if I got each and every one of my constituents, the entire Village of Tivoli together, and we couldn't sit this room probably 2 times. So it's good to be here. So even though there are so few, I am so deeply honored that they have given me the life-changing experience of being the mayor of that singularly authentic and incomparably charming community tucked way up in the northwest corner of Dutchess County, right on the banks of the beautiful Hudson River, called the Village of Tivoli. Before I go on with this introduction, as a Tivolian, I am obligated to tell this to any group of people, especially one this large, that if you spell Tivoli backwards, you get I love it. I've done my duty. Thank you. We're really crazy about that. Now, I grew up in Tivoli, and I went to Red Hook High School with a young Marc Molinaro. I actually knew him before he held public office, which is a rather impossible feat since he became a trustee at 18, mayor at 19, and has never left public office ever since. We had the usual high school jobs right there in the village, the kind you have to ride your bike to because you don't have a car yet. My first job was as a dishwasher at the Santa Fe restaurant. I'm sure many of you have been there. It's still there today. And down the block at Bruno's Deli, next to the beer coolers and under one of those brown plastic deli signs with the little white letters, making the hoagies, was Marc. And I know this may be hard to picture, but he was not always the impeccably coiffed sartorial success that we know today. This was early 90s, this was high school, and he looked different. He probably coulda, shoulda had a haircut maybe 3 weeks earlier, and there's some proto-stubble coming out on the full and youthful cheek. I can see him in his white sort of droopy apron with some mayo on there, and he's working a block of boar's head on the slicer. And I told our mutual friend Pete earlier this week, I said, Pete, Marc asked me to introduce him at the State of the County, and he said, are you gonna tell him about how he made my lunch every day? I said, it's already in there. So he's in high school making the sandwiches, and like 18 months later, he's the mayor of our village. He was our mayor for 12 years. We affectionately called him Mayor Marc, and he set the bar by which all subsequent mayors of Tivoli have been measured. His energy, his optimism, his drive, and his leadership transformed our village, and a huge part of my job, even 13 years later, is keeping up what he got going and maintaining the high expectations he set for our community. Tivoli is a small, tight-knit community where everyone knows everyone, and if you happen to be the mayor, you will not be able to hide from your public. You have to be a good mayor. They will leave you little choice. You will be approached on the street, stopped in the coffee shop, cornered in the post office, and pinned down at the restaurant when you're taking mom out for Mother's Day. Now, I don't say all that as a complaint. Honestly, that sort of interface with your constituents, that kind of direct connection between the citizen and their elected official is incredible training for a life in public service. Every problem is real and needs fixing for the one who has it. And a good public servant recognizes that and gets to work on those problems. That is our job, and that has been Marcus's job his entire life. All who know Marcus appreciate his quick wit. He has a sharp and fast mind and is additionally gifted with a mouth which can keep up with it. He knows that a good idea can come from anywhere and that no party or faction has a monopoly on the solutions we need. Like any mayor of Tivoli quickly learns, when the roof is leaking, it leaks on everyone's head, and the thing to do is get together and fix that roof for the good of us all. He encourages others, and I want to thank him for all the help and encouragement he has given me over the years, back when I was a constituent of his in Tivoli, and more recently as I have taken on the responsibilities and am having those experiences that he had so long ago, those small town, community-driven, life-changing experiences in public service, which I can see over all the intervening years have continued to inform his thoughts and his actions. Please help me in welcoming an old friend of mine. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce to you all our Dutchess County Executive, Marcus J. Molinaro.
Thank you. Thank you. It's very kind of you. I appreciate that. And let me say that I am particularly proud of Mayor Joel Griffith. We went to school together. He He's a phenomenal artist, and inspired me as a young elected official. And I can tell you this, I mean it sincerely. For Tivoli, Joel, you do it better than I did. Congratulations and thank you. Another round of applause for Joel. But I think that that's probably a good place to start. Like so many high school students, I was still unsure what I wanted to do when I grow up. Now I'm certain I know what I want to do when I grow up. But I had the great fortune of interning for my state assemblywoman, a remarkable lady who many of you probably remember. Eileen Hickey was somebody who believed in public service. And while today she and I would not have shared party affiliation, she made it perfectly clear that as an intern or staff or elected official herself, public service is about making a difference and helping people. And she made it clear to those of us who had the honor and privilege of working with her for the short term she held as a member of the State Assembly that we always put constituents first. She inspired us into service. So in 1994, only a few months after my high school graduation, it was pretty clear to me what I needed to do and what I wanted to accomplish. In a four-way race for 2 seats, I ran for the Village Board of Trustees, knocking on every door 3 times, and that was in one weekend. Getting to know the village and the people who live there was very special. And it was in 1994 that, despite the fact that my mom and I, my mother is here, she's waving, so she deserves a round of applause just for... My mother has the false notion that she hasn't lived a remarkable life. She has, and she produced amazing boys, 2 of which are exceptionally accomplished, and the third is the county executive. My mother and I stood there knowing full well that I was going to lose, except we were wrong. In 1994, I was elected to the Village Board of Trustees and then served 1 year as a village board member under the mentorship, if you will, of Mayor Ed Neese. Mayor Neese served for 20 years and had decided to retire, not because I had been elected, but because he felt it was time to move on. He asked the village board members, are any of you interested in running for mayor? So, of course, I ran home and asked my mom if it'd be okay and in March of 1995, that small village of Tivoli elected a 19-year-old. And over the 4,273 days that followed, I learned more than I led. I listened more than I spoke, and earnestly served a diverse village, vibrant, struggling to incorporate great change, yet hold on to its proud past and do more to support its kids, families, and seniors. Ladies and gentlemen, it was here where I found my purpose, to serve others, where I learned to govern by molding consensus and engaging others. And it was here where I first met local senior citizens Vincent and Daisy Post. This young kid from Bruno's Deli left one day on my way home, and these 2 amazing individuals sitting on their front porch needed a little help cleaning up on the curb out front, and they asked me to give them a hand. From there began a relationship, and ultimately they encouraged me to run for village trustee. They're the ones you get to blame. And I learned a lot from Vince and Daisy. But what I learned getting to know the both of them is what I came to learn about the village of Tivoli and ultimately what I know about public service. In the village of Tivoli, for the 12 years I served as its mayor and the times I learned and sat and ate strawberry shortcake with Vince and Daisy Post, and she made great strawberry shortcake, we recognized that our party affiliation didn't matter, nor did length of residency. Our age difference didn't amount to much, and we respected each other's opinions because they were shared not to demean or dismiss, but to lift up and to encourage. The very moment each of us finds our purpose in life impacts every moment that follows. Those of us who have already found theirs are blessed, and I found mine in the village of Tivoli. But make no mistake, every life has purpose. Whether a child born with a disability or teen struggling with addiction, the young adult making decisions that will shape his or her future, or a senior who raised their family here in Dutchess and chose to stay. In our community, in Dutchess County, we strive to ensure that every person has the opportunity to live a life of meaning and purpose. I was lucky enough to have found mine, to make a difference. And every day I see that same spirit on display in this community in so many ways. It's in the parents working 2 jobs to make ends meet, dedicated teachers buying school supplies for their students, determined small business owners pioneering and innovating in our downtowns and on our main streets. It's in our brave police officers, emergency responders, and firefighters placing their lives on the line to keep us safe. We see it in the hospice nurse who cares for the dying and the fast food worker who shares a smile and a cup of coffee. Just as I saw it from Vince and Daisy's front porch as Tivoli and life passed by. The truth is, every life has purpose if we respect each other and ourselves. If we look to each other not as adversaries or opponents, but as neighbors and friends. And when some look to divide, to segregate, we must look to each other and unite as one community with a shared sense of purpose, to see all we can be, to rise up, improve our lives and the life of our community, to build a beautiful tomorrow. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our purpose, and it is the making of the state of our county. Three years ago, together, we began challenging ourselves to think differently. Our call to action has been embraced throughout Dutchess County, New York State, and even across the nation. More and more people from all walks of life are choosing to focus on the inherent potential of every individual, regardless of ability. Over 70 communities have answered the call, and the impact is far-reaching. Last year, in collaboration with Dutchess Community College, we began Think Ahead. And I extend my appreciation to Dr. Eddington, who I know is here, and all of the staff at Dutchess Community College. They deserve acknowledgement as well. We began Think Ahead, which is a college experience that focuses on job readiness and skills development for qualified students. This year, we'll expand this acclaimed program with funding for transportation, ensuring connections for students and employers. The mother of one of Think Ahead's students noted, the program has allowed her son, Andrew, to realize a lifelong dream to attend college just as his brother and sister had done. And ladies and gentlemen, here with us tonight is Andrew and his family. I'd ask them to stand and be recognized. Yesterday, we launched our Think Differently website, a resource like no other, offering simple navigation through the comprehensive array of services available, connecting families to resources, events, information, and each other. I'd ask you to join me in acknowledging the men and women from Dutchess County's OCIS, Deputy Commissioner Tony Sharfella, and the entire Think Differently team, and our friends at Ashworth Creative for bringing this website to life. Now, next month begins the public input part of our new Parks Master Plan. We're already adding accessibility features to Dutchess Stadium, Bowdoin Park, and the lake at Wilcox. Next, we will move ahead with a universally accessible addition to one of our county parks. And as part of the public survey process, we're going to ask you, help us select the project and the park. And together, as we reimagine what county parks can and should be in the future, our overall priority will be to make them more accessible while developing Think Differently principles to ensure all parks in Dutchess County are open for everyone of every ability. And to assist in making public facilities more accessible, we'll begin providing small capital grants to communities through our Municipal Innovation Grant Program to help fund ADA improvements. Something as simple as adding a ramp to a building, audio loop for public meetings, or an accessible crosswalk can break down barriers, making a world of difference. Our Think Differently calendar expands each year with great new events like the Disability Dream and Do Baseball Weekend at Dutchess Stadium with the Hudson Valley Renegades. And I know that there are folks from the Hudson Valley Renegades here with us tonight. Please join me in thanking them for adding this program to theirs. The Dream and Do Baseball Weekend, along with our popular red carpet movie days and our special needs picnic, are very, very popular throughout our community, and we welcome you to them this year. We're also proud to support so many others who are thinking differently, like East Fishkill's Beach Day at Red Wing Park and Adaptive Easter Egg Hunt at Timor Park in Unionville, and they deserve acknowledgement. The town of East Fishkill, the town of Unionville, legislators Marge Horton and John Metzger for making those happen. We appreciate it. And this year, the introduction of the Wingman Mentoring Program. This is a program founded by the father of a victim of the tragedy at Sandy Hook, and we are grateful to Gold's Gym Summer Camps for bringing this program to Dutchess County. You can clap for that. Go ahead. We are inspired, truly, when we see the real impact of Think Differently. We hear it in the voices of those too often overlooked, and we see it in the growing number of people willing to open their hearts and minds to neighbors of all abilities. The indelible image of this success was recently seen when a mother, who saw the Think Differently logo on the back of a county bus, summoned the courage to stand before her school board and advocate for her child by challenging them to think differently. As we learn of the stories of people fighting for change, we know we are achieving our purpose. Yet, there is much more to be done to break down barriers, and I challenge you to think differently, to have the courage to create new opportunities. I'd ask you to do something as inspiring as supporting our efforts to host the Special Olympics New York Summer Games. Perhaps you might contribute to or volunteer with one of our great service providers or help at this year's Think Differently Dash. And to the employers here tonight, and I know there are a number of you here, I sincerely and emphatically challenge you to think jobs and work with us to create employment opportunities in your business for someone with a different ability. They and you will be blessed by the employment. I ask you to do that. Will each of you find ways to think differently? Please. When we don't listen to each other, the space between us grows more vast, making room for misperceptions, misunderstandings, and unearned labels. The remedy to this all too common problem is bringing people together to talk to each other and learn from one another, to listen. The more you understand an individual or group, the less likely you are to see them as others, unjustly judging them, or cynically dismissing their claims of injustice. Through our Commission on Human Rights, we are fostering a dialogue that breaks down barriers and builds the bonds of community through mutual respect and understanding. We've increased its staff and resources, and the Commission continues holding listening sessions, 100 cups of coffee transformative dialogues, and no, I don't drink all the coffee, and facilitated conversations throughout Dutchess County. I am grateful to the men and women of the Human Rights Commission and our Human Rights Officer, Jody Miller, and we thank you for your service and commitment to the important conversation we're having throughout Dutchess County. We are too often tragically reminded of the isolation and despair felt by so many. When violence and drugs become the only option for those lonely, broken, and in need of help, we must not only demand more from society, we must do more ourselves. The costs of standing by are too high, the results of inaction too painful, and the consequences can be far too many. Right now, across this nation and here in Dutchess County, the opioid epidemic continues taking a horrifying human toll, leaving in its wake destroyed families, mourning sons and daughters, sisters and brothers, mothers and fathers, lost too soon. We join them in mourning their loss. As individuals, we grieve the unprecedented loss of human potential. And as a community, we must search our souls and ask ourselves, what are we willing to do to preserve life and stop this horrific disease? The epidemic will touch more people in this room, county, state, and nation than we are willing to admit. It is scary. And if it doesn't frighten you, it should. Children's television host Mr. Rogers once offered, when the news scared him, his mother would say, "Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping." Across this county, there are compassionate and courageous people combating this epidemic. Nurses, doctors, mental health professionals, counselors, police officers, EMTs, and those suffering themselves, who give us hope and inspire us to do more. We, however, cannot passively sit by and allow this crisis to unfold. We must break through it all and be the helpers. We can each make a difference by uniting as a community to push back against the forces that have left us as a society too disconnected and too many feeling alone without purpose. We must talk openly about the realities of this disease, and it is a disease. That it is not someone else's town or neighborhood, or simply try to avoid it by isolating those who are suffering. We have to fight the stigma so no one ever feels ashamed or afraid to admit they or someone they love is suffering and in need of help. Each of us can act by helping someone you know find treatment, reaching out to a family who lost a loved one to provide support, getting trained on how to use Narcan, or inspiring and teaching others with the story of your own recovery, like the women of Unshattered, who I hope you met on your way into the theater this evening. They too deserve our acknowledgement. Yes, this is a challenge to everyone in our community. It is also a challenge to myself and our county government to think critically about our current efforts and act purposefully with radical new solutions. First, we are taking a more proactive approach, actively seeking out those in need to listen to and learn from, helping connect them with appropriate services and support. To help facilitate, we will increase the availability of recovery coaches, individuals who have turned their struggles with addiction into the purpose of personal growth and societal change by helping others walk the long road to recovery. We will ask these brave individuals to seek out those in need, harness the power of social media, provide support, maintain accountability, and lead group sessions in non-traditional settings. This past year, a recovery coach was integrated into the Department of Behavioral and Community Health programs in the county jail and the Stabilization Center. And in 2018, we will expand our efforts into communities and neighborhoods across the county. We will also find new ways to utilize the power of data to identify people and communities most in need, target resources, track events and substances that present an immediate threat to public health, to direct law enforcement efforts to crack down on suppliers, and evaluate our efforts to address this public health crisis. We will make a concerted effort to collect more data on the use of Narcan, to better understand its effectiveness, and most importantly, connect with those treated. As part of this effort, we are asking community members, police officers, firefighters, and emergency medical personnel to report all use of Narcan and connect those helped to the Stabilization Center or hospital for support and treatment. Let me take this opportunity to confront the thought that Narcan is just another way for opioid users to avoid the consequences of their decisions. Nothing could be further from the truth. Narcan and those trained to administer it saves lives, and protecting life is our most sacred responsibility. We are expanding our efforts to help those suffering manage their addiction by increasing medication-assisted treatment. Currently, the county's largest opioid addiction program serves nearly 400 individuals and has produced tremendous results. Medication-assisted treatment combines counseling and therapy, importantly, combines counseling and therapy with approved medications that relieve withdrawal symptoms, control cravings, and block the effects of opioids. We will provide more treatment options at the Stabilization Center and expand treatment by working with primary care providers throughout the county. We will, though, need your help to confront together the stigma unfairly associated with these sites. Make no mistake, those in treatment are our friends and neighbors. They live productive lives and have found renewed purpose. Now, to ensure a seamless and robust delivery of services, I am asking the county legislature to approve the funding necessary to expand and improve our campus at 230 North Road. With larger clinic space, group meetings, and integrated offices, more people can receive the help they need, lives will be improved, and families better supported. Our behavioral health campus must stand as a testament to the importance of the services provided and the unquestioned value of the individuals served. And thank you. And to my friends in the legislature, you just heard a little bit of encouragement. It's an investment that we need to make, and we are grateful to Assemblymember Dee Dee Barrett for her continued support of the work at Dutchess County's Stabilization Center and Behavioral Health Campus. Thank you, Dee Dee. We will also strengthen our partnership with law enforcement by building on the BEAT model, currently a joint effort of the City of Poughkeepsie Police Department, the county's Mobile Intervention Team, and Mental Health America. And I'd like to extend our appreciation to the guy who had the vision to bring this about, the mayor of the City of Poughkeepsie, Rob Rollison. Thank you, Mayor. This program pairs police officers trained in crisis intervention with mental health professionals to proactively engage those in need of support and divert them from the criminal justice system. We will expand this model into other jurisdictions. And the county's drug task force will continue constricting the supply of illicit drugs by identifying and cutting off supply chains and distributors. This would be a good time, especially in this community over the last several days, to acknowledge all of the men in law enforcement, and in particular, the men and women of the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Adrian Butch Anderson. Thank you, all of you, for your sacrifice and service to Dutchess County. The opioid crisis is one consequence of the isolation and despair endemic in our modern society. To find another, you need only look to the news or your Twitter feed. 2 weeks ago, we saw the latest tragic example of another lost son, so hurt, so angry, so alone, that he extinguished the lives of the innocent. These tragic events rightfully stir deep and powerful emotions in all of us. Too often, though, our anger, passion, and ideological differences overshadow our purpose to protect our children. We must rise up and find ways to help prevent yet another tragedy. And along with the Sheriff's Office school resource officers, our Department of Behavioral and Community Health will continue partnering with local school districts to incorporate Second Step, a social, emotional learning program that focuses on empathy and communication skills, bullying prevention, problem solving, and substance abuse prevention. We will continue providing school district personnel with youth mental health first aid, teaching how to identify someone showing signs of emerging mental illness, to intervene in a mental health crisis, and to refer someone to treatment if they need it. Personnel from Hyde Park, Pine Plains, Dover, Poughkeepsie, and Beacon school districts have already taken advantage of this program, and I'd ask you to encourage the rest of the districts in Dutchess County to participate. I'd also ask you to join me in acknowledging School Resource Officer Evan Trout and all of the men and women of Dutchess County Sheriff's Office School Resource Officer Program right here. Stand up and be recognized. What is so critical, and we have to talk more about it, we don't just put police officers in schools. We train them with crisis intervention, and we match them up with mental health personnel and staff to ensure that we get to the heart of the problem, that there are kids being picked on, being bullied, being isolated, being tormented that need help, and this may be their first line of defense, and for that, we're grateful. And to all of you and to all of the schools across Dutchess County, we will continue reminding you all that both the Stabilization Center and our mobile intervention team and mental health professionals are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to connect students or anyone in need of assistance. There is no excuse not to make that call or text that message or reach out in help. Our Medical Reserve Corps will continue to provide training related to emergency and life-threatening situations. And most importantly, we must stay vigilant, ensuring that no call for help goes unheeded, no threat goes unchecked, and no lingering concern goes unaddressed. And with that, we will have nothing to fear. We must also, though, challenge ourselves to be the helpers, to summon the courage to overcome the fear and be the change. If you know someone alone, distressed, using drugs, acting in a violent manner, or harming themselves, get involved. Offer your help to those clearly in need, or contact law enforcement, a school teacher, or a mental health professional. And let me say to the students who have voices to be heard, to the students of this county and school officials and parents across Dutchess, no child anywhere should eat alone. My son Jack reminded me of that. No kid in any school, anywhere, should eat alone. But if you see a kid eating alone in a school, if you're a teacher or a student, and as parents encourage this, if you see a child eating alone, pull up a chair, slide their tray over, give that person your attention, a shoulder to cry on, or an opportunity to be heard. Don't turn your back on those being mistreated, bullied, or tormented. Step up, step in, change the course of someone's day. Be their hero, change their life. The awkwardness of acting pales in comparison to the consequences of inaction and the joy of making a difference. Be kind, be brave, be a helper, break through. And you need not look any further than a few days ago to see the power of breaking through when on February 15th, Angela McDevitt, 17 years old, alerted school authorities who then alerted our school resource officer, Deputy Trout. And ladies and gentlemen, I ask you to join with me in recognizing her. She is here today with her family. Angela, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is what a hero looks like. Thank you, Angela. Ladies and gentlemen, it has never seemed more important to help young people find their place in the world. Our greatest chance to effect long-lasting positive change is to help every child make choices they'll benefit from and place them on a path to a promising future. With a nationally renowned consulting group, we will identify and assess youth services throughout Dutchess County, both public and private, and create an innovative action plan to help our children fulfill their promise and find their purpose. We are engaging stakeholders, young people and families, to develop a dynamic plan molded by the input we receive from the very children and families we're working to help. We'll host a youth summit to help develop the plan, ensuring we bridge existing gaps and connect every child to community services and programs they need to be successful. We will provide those embarking on a path to promise with the tools to mentor the next generation. We will also continue safeguarding our children's future through our holistic approach to responding to child abuse, which strikes the necessary balance between supporting families and protecting our kids. Now, none of us, child or adult, can ever reach our fullest potential without the fundamental ability to read. So let me ask you, what are you reading? Brad Kendall, Greg Pulver, Robin Lois, and yes, that is in fact what I am reading. I just want it to be known that right after Mama, Eli said, Dada. That is a question you're going to hear a lot throughout our community in the coming year, as together we embark on Dutchess Reads, an initiative focusing on early reading, literacy for those seeking jobs, and English as a second language. In partnership with local libraries and literacy advocates, county government will promote reading programs and existing resources and identify deficiencies or barriers to literacy. Dutchess Reads aims to bring literacy programs proven successful in various parts of the county to other underserved communities and support programs offered countywide. Through our Behavioral and Community Health Department, Born to Read will provide new mothers with bilingual board books to read to their newborns, encouraging early literacy. We will establish book swaps on county buses, in the Department of Motor Vehicles, and in other public spaces. And with organizations like Literacy Connections, we will encourage participation in Book Buddies, a program that pairs volunteers with children who need help reading, expanding the program into Eastern Dutchess County. And we will support a new Buddies program, where kids needing help improving their skills and, importantly, gaining confidence will read to dogs and cats at the Dutchess County SPCA and other animals. And we might just teach the dogs and cats to read. No, that's not right, is it? With Dutchess Community College, the Northeast Community Center, and others, we'll expand support for English as a second language. Not speaking English creates barriers for so many in our community. In many cases, children of parents speaking another language become their interpreter and teacher. And I am grateful. I'm grateful to County Clerk Brad Kendall and Legislative Chair Greg Pulver for agreeing to spearhead and help make Dutchess Reads a success. And we will be reaching out to others, Sheriff, Bill Grady, Robin Lois, to expand the reach of the program and ensure that this is a positive and impactful program, and you all have already agreed, so thank you. I'm going to move up to chapter books next. Dutchess County senior citizens have given so much to our community, and we will continue helping them live fulfilling lives by promoting independence, dignity, and an improved quality of life. Now, between 2010 and 2020, our senior population is expected to grow more than 20%. The current Office for the Aging facilities in the city of Poughkeepsie are inadequate to meet the needs of our seniors. They're outdated, inefficient, and inaccessible. The OFA offices are disjointed and costly to maintain, and you have to take an elevator that is older than the building it's in to get to them. With help and support from State Senator Sue Serino, we moved forward with plans for a new Office for the Aging Senior Center. A public competitive bid process led us to a location in the city of Poughkeepsie near Route 9. With a lease for a new senior center to house OFA offices, the senior meal kitchen, classroom and meeting space, we will integrate and expand programs and service delivery. We plan to move into this brand new facility by early next year, and I'd ask you to join me in extending our appreciation because we are grateful to Senator Sue Serino for her assistance. This year, we expanded home delivery meals to 5 days a week. Supporting the good health and welfare of our seniors, we also, building on that success, will expand our City of Poughkeepsie, Beacon, and East Fishkill Senior Friendship Centers to a full week of service Monday through Friday. Earlier this week, doors opened at our new Northern Dutchess Senior Friendship Center at the Red Hook Community Center. It's a short walk for me, so as I get older, I won't have to go very far. This new site will also soon be open 5 days a week. We will continue to evaluate all of our Friendship Center site locations, hours, and programming to ensure they are vibrant, engaging environments meeting the needs of our seniors. Our summer picnics are also popular nutritional and socialization opportunities enjoyed by thousands every year. This year, we will host 12 picnics around the county at more accessible locations, and I know that you are all waiting with bated breath. Yes, I have been rehearsing a new Frank Sinatra song, and you won't want to miss it. Or you will. It wasn't that long ago, in 2012, that I delivered my first State of the County address. The financial and economic challenges facing Dutchess County were immense. A $40 million budget gap, virtually no fund balance, 8% unemployment, and in the 4 years leading up to 2012, a 20% decrease in our county's assessed valuation. These challenges threatened programming for our youth, seniors, and veterans, mental health services, 911 dispatch, road repair, snow removal, county planning, and many other critical programs. Through consolidation, shared services, and the hard work of our elected officials and employees, we came together, shared in sacrifice, and weathered the storm. And I'd ask you to join me now in acknowledging the men and women who work for Dutchess County government, the great employees who serve us every day, sacrifice for us, and keep up great work. Thank you to all of you. Six years later, we stand on a firm economic foundation. 3 years of assessed valuation growth, unemployment down to 4%, 2 quarters of high job growth, and a healthy fund balance, all earning us the second highest bond rating among counties in New York. This foundation has enabled us to decrease the county's property tax levy 4 years in a row and cut the tax rate 3 years in a row. And I thank the county legislature for their leadership. But we cannot forget the harsh realities we faced, nor overlook the uncertainty of the future. Changes in federal policies, new state-imposed mandates, and our obligation to our employees, along with New York's high cost of living, skyrocketing construction costs, and unforeseen emergencies all impact and have the potential to undermine our success. The lessons of the past reinforce the importance of prudent financial management and demand we protect our reserves to guard ourselves against the uncertainties of the future. Being careful stewards of taxpayer funds demands we manage costs and the size of government. We can achieve some of this by sharing services. Our Municipal Innovation Grant Program has supported municipal projects aimed at reducing the size and total cost of government by partnering with our towns, villages, and cities. And I'd ask you to join me in acknowledging the town supervisors, village and city mayors, and all the elected board members who have been sharing services and consolidating long before the state of New York thought it was popular to do so. In New York, though, managing government costs is especially difficult, with 70% of every property tax dollar going to pay for state-mandated services. Now, we're controlling those mandated costs the best we can with upfront Medicaid fraud audits, saving over $3 million annually, and back-end audits, saving almost $3 million to date. We initiated our Community Schooling and Better for Families program to prevent costly institutional placements and strengthen our families. Our Stabilization Center provides a more effective and less costly alternative to the criminal justice system and emergency rooms. And in the last 11 months, the Stabilization Center and our other diversion services provided effective and less costly alternatives to emergency departments and the criminal justice system over 2,000 times. and our response to New York's unnecessarily complex but appropriate change in the law to raise the age will employ a balanced approach sensitive to young people and taxpayers. Passing more of its cost down onto local taxpayers than any state in America, New York so often takes without giving, demands without helping. Albany, for instance, mandates counties have a jail, yet so many are crowded because of the state's own inaction or willful contribution. New York's dismantling of mental health services and failure to implement its own policies have left those with severe mental illness or parole violations languishing in county jails like our own. This keeps too many from the help they need, complicates the work of our corrections officers, and unnecessarily increases local jail population. So, of course, we welcomed the governor's office's recent affirmation of problems in jails across New York. After all, we're solving ours. The Justice and Transition Center will provide a safe environment, allow for more restorative mental health and educational programming. It will require less staffing and help individuals transition back into the community. This project is progressing on time and on budget, and the Sheriff's Office is working to improve delivery of services and take corrective actions at our current facility. While pointing out the problem, the governor might also provide meaningful assistance to help reduce the burden on local taxpayers, improve conditions, and help the individuals. As we cut costs and found ways to make government smaller, smarter, and more effective, we also made strategic investments in our economy, increasing funding for tourism and arts promotion in 2018 to $1.5 million, employing over 10,000 individuals and attracting nearly 5 million visitors who spend nearly $570 million. I've counted every one of them. In our stores, restaurants, and hotels, tourism remains an economic powerhouse, and we are grateful to the leadership and advocacy that Dutchess Tourism, Inc. and Mary Kay Verba provide this community. The FDR Home and Library, the Culinary Institute of America, and DIA, our theaters, farms, and galleries attract millions. And our own Dutchess Stadium draws thousands of visitors from around the region every year, generating an estimated $1 million in visitor spending annually. With a $1.5 million state grant, the county will propose improvements to our 25-year-old asset. In collaboration with the Hudson Valley Renegades, we will repair this aging facility and enhance the fan and attendee experience. Now, by attracting major motion pictures like Paramount's A Quiet Place and other film, television, and commercial projects, we've welcomed new jobs and seen new spending in local communities and businesses. A Quiet Place, filmed extensively in Dover and Pauling, which many of you know, spent $18 million in our region. To capitalize on this growing industry, our Economic Development Advisory Council's Education and Workforce Committee will partner with Stockade Works in Kingston to train and educate our workforce to meet production and post-production needs, while Dutchess Tourism will promote venues and locations around our county. In June, Dutchess County will host a Hudson Valley Film Conference right here at the Culinary Institute of America. Now, to meet the workforce needs of emerging and traditional industries, we are focused on reducing the skills gap and creating a true pipeline to jobs. Dutchess Community College and IBM will host a design thinking workshop on March 22nd and conduct a skills gap study to align educational outcomes with employment. Think Dutchess is adapting its marketing efforts by matching advanced technologies with traditional marketing to more effectively promote Dutchess County around the globe. They'll expand social media analytics and geofencing, in addition to releasing a second magazine this summer, all highlighting our assets and community. Dutchess County is fostering innovation to drive new jobs and investment with the kickoff of Think Dutchess's second Innovation Challenge and the creation of an Innovation Quad, pillared by Marist College's Fulton Technology Crossroad Project, SUNY Dutchess's Materials Science Lab, Vassar College's Bridge for Laboratory Sciences, and of course, IBM. With this innovation quad, Dutchess County brings these powerhouses together to cultivate a startup ecosystem where companies can leverage existing science and technology resources as well as expertise. An example currently underway is Marist College's partnership with healthcare startup Telestat, headed by Dr. Anthony Bakke, which has the potential to transform healthcare delivery by decreasing the length of stay at hospitals and reducing nursing home readmissions. I'd ask you to join me in acknowledging Dr. Bakke and his team who are here with us this evening. And as you may have guessed, at the heart of this startup ecosystem is the city of Poughkeepsie, where the energy and excitement of Vassar Brothers Medical Center, the excitement of the Vassar Brothers Medical Center expansion, the waterfront redevelopment, new housing units, and Mass Design's Hudson Valley Design Lab is attracting new interest, people, and investment. We're grateful to Rhinebeck Bank, who has committed to a $3 million loan fund investing in this downtown innovation, dovetailing with the Hudson Valley Startup Fund and Community Capital New York to help support and cultivate this ecosystem. Innovation is happening throughout Dutchess County as Think Dutchess works to grow the Center for Harvesting Materials and Systems Lab in the town of Poughkeepsie and bring an advanced textile lab to the city of Beacon. And you should join me in thanking the leadership in the city of Beacon, the incomparable Mayor Randy Casale. You're all good, but Randy's incomparable. He's also bringing to Beacon Cafe Spice, right, Randy? A family-owned and operated food manufacturer expected to create up to 250 jobs. Yeah, I thought so too. No pressure, Randy. Now, the only thing more difficult than converting the single-employer economy of the pre-1990s is reusing that single employer's facilities. But National Resources is doing just that, as we welcome More Good and Sloop Brewing to Hyde Park in East Fishkill, as well as the expansion of Imagine, a leading manufacturer of microdisplays. And I thank the leadership of the town of East Fishkill, now its supervisor, Nick D'Alessandro, but the entire town board who has helped to make this a reality. But know this, we are putting as much effort into new businesses as we are supporting our existing ones. Small business owners are the backbone of our economy, employing our neighbors, providing opportunities for residents, and supporting our communities. Think Dutchess will expand its small business programming by adding a procurement technical assistance center to its one-stop shop. Over the last 5 years, PTAC in the lower Hudson Valley helped businesses obtain more than $450 million in local, state, and federal contracts. The Economic Development Advisory Council's Local Government Committee will expand opportunities for municipalities to attract investment by partnering with school districts and towns to implement pre-approved strategies. And all of these efforts will be complemented by a new downtown building catalyst program and our PACE Land Use Law Center Commercial Corridors program. Now, nothing better represents the dynamic economy budding in Dutchess County than one of our oldest, most traditional economic engines, agriculture. Did you get it? Budding agriculture. How'd I do, Greg? Okay. Greg Pulver's a farmer, if you didn't know. He'll remind you 9 times. Let it sink in, it'll get you. Okay, so 9 times. Agriculture represents and is responsible for nearly $50 million in sales annually. Now, we've supported this reinvigorated sector by working with Cornell Cooperative Extension to fund an agricultural navigator to help those in the industry open new markets and traverse government regulations. We continue to preserve farming by protecting over 3,300 acres of active farmland, and this year dedicating another $1 million through our Partnership for Manageable Growth. Due to our many efforts, and industrious farmers all across Dutchess County, the industry is thriving again, with traditional farms, distilleries, wineries, and farm-to-table restaurants all producing great benefit. And as was mentioned, Asahi Shuzo Internationals. My wife didn't think I could say Asahi Shu. Did you? No, it wasn't her. Somebody in the office said that you couldn't say Asahi. I can't even say it now. Asahi Shuzo International's planned investment of over $28 million in Hyde Park to turn a long vacant building into a sake brewery will create 32 new jobs, and we are grateful to the CIA and to Supervisor Aileen Rohr and the Hyde Park Town Board for their leadership in bringing this to Dutchess County. Asahi Shuzo, which I'm just going to keep saying, will also partner with the CIA for research and development at their facility. And this is a great example of a sector full of opportunity and the success of our joint recruitment efforts. Together, ladies and gentlemen, we've worked and sacrificed to build a strong fiscal foundation to support our many worthy endeavors. Because purpose without a pragmatic, realistic approach leads to empty promises and empty coffers. And years from now, though, people may not remember we controlled spending or that our bond rating was upgraded. They may remember what our fiscal prudence has enabled. Individuals with special needs and their families will remember how we created an inclusive and compassionate community by calling on us all to think differently. Those seeking treatment for addiction will remember how we committed to breaking through the stigma and barriers between help and those who seek it. A young person heading to their first college class or new job will remember we provided a path to fulfill their promise. And in the midst of a turbulent and adversarial political climate, they may recall we provided honest and respectful leadership. And when anger and hate too often filled the speech of the day and discourse, we gave rise to a spirit of acceptance, respect, and hope. We can only leave such a mark because we stand on the shoulders of those who came before us, the legacy of our founding fathers and all those who fought to ensure our right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This foundation has been preserved through the service and sacrifice of so many, but none have sacrificed more in service to our nation and its founding principles than the American veteran. In recognition of the immense sacrifice of the men and women who have served in our armed forces, and in honor of the 100th anniversary of the end of fighting in World War I, we proclaim 2018 the Year of the Veteran. We'll celebrate this important year by recognizing Gold Star families who lost children in service to our country, holding a parade honoring our veterans and their families, and proudly commemorating the service of all county veterans through our 300-year history. From those who battled the tyranny of our colonial rulers to the men and women who fight and continue to fight for security and stability across the globe. I'd ask all those men and women who have served or continue in service to stand and be recognized. All of our veterans and those who may still be in service, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Beyond celebrating and honoring our veterans, we continue finding new ways to support them. Whether it's Dutchess Community College's Veterans Resource Center, providing support to veteran students, or peer counseling in partnership with Mental Health America, or funding for Hudson River Housing to address veteran housing, we stand with these brave men and women. And for the past 18 years, one man and his amazing wife, Christina, has led our team and stood shoulder to shoulder with our county's veterans. Nelson Eddie Rivera has earned our admiration and thanks. Now, he couldn't be here with us tonight because he needs to be with his family, but we wish him well in his well-deserved retirement. He will be missed, and his service and commitment will not soon be forgotten, and I'd ask you to join me in acknowledging him anyway. I think he's watching. November 11, 1918, marked the end of the Great War, a war that saw nearly 5 million United States service members mobilized worldwide and resulted in the loss of over 116,000 Americans. Now, more than 100 years later, we look back in awe of these brave men and women who left their homes and families for the purpose of reshaping the world by making it safe for democracy. Let us follow their example of not just living in the world, but demanding and fighting for more. Let us honor them by making and remaking the state of our county. So, ladies and gentlemen, the state of Dutchess County is not the last 55 minutes, is that about right? I've spoken to you here tonight. It isn't the actions of an executive or votes of a legislature. The state of our county is you. It's us. It's our dreams and labors, the steps we take, decisions we make, problems we solve, and challenges we overcome together. It is the courage and faith, troubles and toils, unyielding promise, and reasoned purpose of our people. We are the heirs to this county's rich history, stewards of its land and resources, caretakers of its monuments and achievements. We are its hope for a prosperous future. And we, ladies and gentlemen, are the state of our county. May we find purpose in its making. Thank you. May God bless you, and may He continue to bless Dutchess County and the United States of America.